Hello, race fans. Welcome into the Music City Nashville Superspeedway. Getting ready to host tonight's race for the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Rays. If you're just tuning in, we appreciate you being here. You are watching Austin Green on Ghost Racing Network. Let's get right down to your pre-race ceremony, starting with the race info here for tonight. It's the Blue Ridge Auto Group 200. Going to be 150 laps around this 1.3 mile speedway here tonight. Again, they call it a super speedway. Not so much long straightaways, but very slow turns in consideration to the speed you would expect from a super speedway. Fuel going to be at 70%. 5 sets of tires laying in the pits for all these guys tonight. 1 fast repair fix setups. Stage 1 is going to end at lap 45. Stage 2 going to end at lap 77. And we do have 3 green-white checkers if we so need them. And hey, we did need them last week, so you certainly never know. Moving on into your starting grid as these guys roll off the grid to get ready for their 1 parade lap. Before we take the green, it's going to be Kenneth Redinger rolling off in the first place position. William McKellar starts second. Good to see him back here tonight. And third, it's going to be Jay Stinson with David Traylor to his outside. And fourth, Joey Hickox and Chase Greer round out row 3. It's going to be Riley Gomes and Justin Parham in row 4. Blaze Richardson starts 9th. Sam Boutwell rounding out your top 10. Matthew Dyer in 11th. William George in 12th. Philip Willis 13th. John Lynch in 14th. Matthew Fritz in 15th. Keith Prince 16th. Ryan Gomes and Steven Hins in row 9. And it's going to be Grant Turner and Richard Hurst rounding out your top 20. Randy Bonomi and Tyler Dudley start in row 11. Jeff Carl, Jimmy Scamordella in row 12. Russ Kilgore 25th. Albert Hewins 26th. Ron Fenton in 27th. John Bell 28th. Robert Dubendak in 29th. Billy Davison in 30th. Christopher Bonomi starts 31st, and rounding out your field tonight is going to be Guy Bracco starting in that 31st position. Pace truck makes the hard left turn. We are ready to go racing at Nashville. Field being led to green again by Kenneth Redinger, and here we go. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Nashville. And caution is already out for a issue in the back. And as we were just on the lap, I was finishing getting things set up back here. And in the meantime, William McKellar from up near the front has spun. What has happened? Doesn't look like he's got any damage. Starting on the outside lane, and cold tires, pretty cool track. In fact, we didn't talk about the track tempo. We certainly will after we take a look at this spin. And I think he's just going to get loose by himself. Yep. Truck comes right around, slides up, and that's probably for the best because somehow that allows everybody else to miss. Yeah, you see he just got loose. Cold tires, tricky situation. We had another truck kind of go spinning here. You saw him exiting the turn. And that is, it looks like it might be John Lynch in the 90. I think it was. Let's see, does he get out of this? Yeah, no, just in front of him, actually. The 28 of Matthew Dyer went for a slide in the grass. As a couple guys were trying to miss it, we had another one down there in the grass. That was Blaze Richardson. So a couple guys make some contact with the wall. Yeah, he's got some left side damage. You saw William McKellar. He did back it into the outside wall. Take a couple different shots of it right here. The big contact was, of course, the contact for William McKellar right there. Boom. Left rear damage shouldn't affect him too bad. Again, everybody does have that fast repair to use. I don't think he's going to need it just yet. And there you see the 28 spin in. Does he hit the wall? He does not. And the rest of the field was able to scurry on by without any further occurrence. We'll take one more look at it here from the cockpit view of Blaze Richardson. And he sees the 75 spin in, trying to dive low. And then he gets a little bit out of shape. Not going to be able to keep it out of the wall. That's where he gets the left side damage. That might be a fast repair for Blaze. Unfortunately, here early. You know, normally it wouldn't matter. Of course, you're not in real life. You don't have to worry about drivers getting hurt. But that inside wall here at Nashville is concrete. And I think that gives these guys a little bit more damage when they hit it than it does if it were to be a safer barrier such as the outside wall. Kenneth Redinger first. The top 5 basically stayed the same, minus William McKellar dropping out of it now with that damage. We'll go back and take or we'll go see how he's doing here in just a minute. Do have to finish setting up one thing here that looks like is not quite functioning correctly on the broadcast. And we got that set up, so we're good to go. We do have some guys carrying onboard cameras for us here tonight. Richard Hurst, your Daytona winner, he is going to be the first one of those guys currently sitting in the 15th position. Taking a look there, Grant Turner had the foot cam last week, but we're just sticking with the normal cam this week. And he has shown a lot of speed through the first 2 races. So far, finds himself further towards the back, down 8 already from where he started, but he may have chose to pit there, top off, throwing a little strategy in the mix of some sort. But again, plenty of time here, 150 laps around Nashville. It's going to take a while, and again, it's a rhythm track, right? You know, it's kind of got that short track and also kind of the 1.5 mile track mixed to it. Looks like a 1.5 miles if you're looking at it from the aerial view, but when you're racing on it, again, feels you got to really slow down in the corners. In fact, guys do have to use a brake. We'll try to ride through the cockpits of a couple of these different guys, go through the throttle traces, show you just how they're running their line. But I'll tell you what, we didn't get a chance to show our first lap with the cameras that we get here at Nashville Superspeedway, so we're going to go ahead and try it again as the field here, being led by Kenneth Rittinger, is going to try it for the second time. Caution on the first lap, but we're ready to go back green on the 5th one. And there it is. Green flag is back in the air at Nashville. Let's turn the music up. And first lap, well, first official lap under green is going to go to Kenneth Rittinger. He is already starting to stretch his lead out. First track that we have headed to this season where drafting isn't really going to help you out much here. You get a little bit down the front and back straightaways, but it's not enough to keep you up there if you don't have the speed to do it. Going to see how long that outside line is able to work. The cooler track temp, I think, maybe helps. Or excuse me, doesn't help that outside line because the inside should roll a lot smoother. Track temp right now is at 75. That's pretty cool. So that's going to help handling overall, but again, going to maybe hurt the chances of the outside line. We'll have to see how it works. Last time we were here, of course, it was the old truck package. Since then, the trucks have changed after the iRacing update. Jay Stinson currently settled into 2nd position, already a 2nd behind Kenneth Rittinger. Going to be a little bit of a tire saving game here as well. We'll see how everybody goes about it. Doesn't look like Kenneth is doing any tire saving right now. Again, he knows he's got that first stage brake coming on lap 35, and that's going to come up pretty quickly. Paul Witt in the chat says, hey, Austin, looks like Steel. How you doing, Paul? Good to see you in here. Steel Curtain says, let's go, number 9, SVT Love. Would love to be out there, says Paul Witt as well. Well, we miss you, Paul. We'd like to see you out here as well. Nancy Hickok's in the chat, and Raymond Daniels Sr. says the Manny Rays Mafia is out watching. You see how quick everybody's single file. We got a couple battles still further in the back right here. And here is one of them right now. It's going to be between the 2 truck of Steven Hins and Randy Minomi, who makes his return here tonight in the 66. That is one of the Hickox Racing drivers. You see that outside just continues to fall early. 2 trucks going to have to slide in line behind Richard Hurst right here. And no, he's going to try to contend with it. Just not going to work. You can see they can't quite seem to make it roll enough to make any progress. Seemed like on the restart, maybe for the first couple laps, maybe you have a little bit of a chance, but it does not last long after that. Guy Bracco back here in 31st position, still trying to find a rhythm to catch the pack with. Keith Prince, not sure if he was involved in the first wreck. I'm not sure what his issue was, but he is currently 2 laps down. And he's going to have to hope that nobody else loses a lap. Right now, he's the only truck that is not on the lead lap, so he could get a lucky dog during this first stage break. And now Jay's starting to track down your leader. You got to wonder, did Kenneth start to think to himself, maybe I'm pulling away a little bit too much here. I know I'm fast, but I shouldn't be that fast. He may have backed it down and started saving a little tire. Or maybe Jay, on the other hand, has started pushing the pace a little bit more. He wants to get up here and pressure the back bumper of Kenneth Rittinger. And looking out the gearbox here of, how about Riley Gomes? He sees a side-by-side battle between Hickox Racing and Wally. Sam Boutwell on the bottom. Joey Hickok's up top. Joey tried to pin him down there. I think that's kind of your best strategy. Couldn't make it work, but he does slot himself right in behind Sam. Now he's going to look to the inside. Take a look at the speeds that these guys are running. We'll show you just why it seems odd that they call it Nashville Superspeedway. Down the backstretch, Joey is on the inside here. He's going to top out at about 68 miles an hour. Gets down the turn, but look at the speed drop off. All the way down to the low 140s, almost into the 130s. Speeds you would expect to see at Dover, which is considered kind of a short track. Down the front stretch, this is where these guys are going to get up to the top speed of the day. 173, 174 entering turn 1. And on new tires, they might have a chance of getting close to 180. Battle up front still hasn't quite turned into a battle just yet. Jay closed it up by about 3/10, and then it's kind of just hung there. This is a great run early on for Riley Gomes, up 3 positions from where he started, currently sitting in 4th. One of the newer guys this season, is back here in Phillip Willis. And right now he is in the 8th position, up 5 from where he started. Chase Greer just behind him, another one of the new guys. Got the Doritos paint scheme. John Lynch, one of the SPINO racing drivers, just behind in the 90 truck right now. He's looking to the inside. You can see he's getting his nose lower, getting a little bit of clean air. Nashville is one of those tracks where, although it's maybe not as fast as it sounds, we talked about that earlier, clean air is still important because you're running 130 in the corners. That's enough to where not having the clean air on the front of the nose, you get not quite as much downforce. You're going to have a tendency to slide up the track and or burn off those Goodyear front tires a little bit sooner on the front. Russ Kilgore in the 4 truck. Heartbreak at Daytona, had a shot at it out of turn 4. Got caught up in an incident with him and Grant Turner. So can rebound tonight, currently inside the top 20. There's Tyler Dudley up 2 from where he started. Looking at guys going in the wrong direction. William McKellar, after that first incident, is back in 26 right now. And he's not been able to climb that many positions that quick. Traffic and just passing in general is going to be a tough one here tonight. That's going to be one of the things that defines who is going to have the best shot at winning, is who can make passes the smoothest. Jay is looking really strong here early. Great qualifying effort. Had a little chat with him pre-race. He said that he liked Nashville, liked racing it, and he is showing that so far. Looks like Nancy says, I'm liking the paint scheme on the 90. It certainly does look good. Steve Hinn says, let's go number 2. And Paul Witt says, Nancy, I agree, nice looking truck. Here's a little battle just a bit further back. Richard Hurst thought about a couple times going to the inside of Randy Bonomi. Couldn't quite get there, but let's take a ride on the cockpit view here as he tries to work this move over for the next lap or 2. You see, these guys can go below the yellow here at Nashville. It's a little tricky. Truck tends to unload. Oh, that's a big moment just in front of Randy Bonomi. Richard Hurst has to really put on the brakes, as that was a big checkup. Looks like Justin Parham had maybe got into the corner a little too hot, had to slam on the brakes. Bonomi followed. And he's going to try to take a different approach. You see he gets the big arc up, and it turns it back down real quick. Just not working for him, though, right now. He is really scrubbing the front tires, though. You can hear it. Take a listen as he gets down into turn 1 right here. You know what I'm talking about. That was a bold move, to say the least. There was some contact right there between him and Justin Parham. I don't know how they all held on to it. Now let's compare what we just heard to your leader here, Kenneth Redinger. And you can hear still scrubbing a little bit of tire. Doesn't sound like nearly as much as what Richard Hurst was using. But again, sunset race that transitioned into the night here tonight. So we might see somebody new all of a sudden come to life here late in the going. Looking down in the pack. Go back live as Raymond Daniels says, where is the 29? Of course, that is Matthew Fritz. Matthew Fritz is not inside the top 5, but he is inside the top 10 right now. Currently up 5 from where he started. And this is another new paint scheme, in fact, that he's running tonight. Manny Rays on the sides. Got the purple and white scheme just in front of Justin Parham. Fritz had a phenomenal run last week. Couldn't quite get the job done, but still had a great truck. So Kenneth Redinger still leads the way, 22 laps in. Stage break coming in 11 laps, and I just had like not really like, I had a little bit of a brain hiccup there for a moment. And when I was talking about the 29's finish last week, he finished on the podium, so I don't know what I'm saying about he couldn't quite get the job done. Auto Club, of course, had the thriller, but he got the win. Matthew Fritz at the end, you got to remember we ended it under caution, and he was out in front. He was hoping that he could get a caution. He did, and that kind of ended the drought for Matthew Fritz after quite a few races towards the end of last season, this season, where he came close. Couldn't quite close it out, but last week he got his first one, and that might be the first of many this season. Here's the 28 of Matthew Dyer. He, on the opposite hand of William McKellar, has been working his way back to the field. Remember, both of those two involved in that first caution and had to fall back. Dyer is up to 20th. William McKellar has not moved since we last checked on him. He is still in 26th. He might be saving a little tire here, maybe going to try some strategy to flip the track position of some sort. Albert Hewins, this is another one of the Hickox Racing drivers. He is back in 31st right now, down 5 from where he started, and he might be in danger of losing a lap here before we do make it to the stage break. And that's bad news if you're Keith Prince, because Keith is 2 laps down. He can't afford for anybody to lose a lap right now. And he is saying right now, come on, Albert Hewins, or caution, which we're going to get. That's the other thing he could certainly use. And looking for who went around here. John Bell in the 5. And the 88 of Billy Davison. They both have pretty heavy damage. I'm thinking one of these guys may have hit that inside concrete wall, but they could have hit the outside. Let's go back and take a look right here. This is in turns 1 and 2. Oh, yeah, the 5's just washing up. He must have got really tight. 88's there. It clips him in the right rear, sends him hard into the outside wall. That's where he gets all the damage. Then the 88 just had leftover damage from that contact that he indeed made with John Bell. Watch this from, let's watch it from the chopper view. And I can't, we'll have to watch from cockpit view. It almost looks like he's getting tight. At the same time, the 88's starting to come down a little bit. They meet in the middle, and that's a big hit. You see rips the front end off. Right suspension is total. That's going to be a fast repair, no doubt. William McKellar did make slight contact. I think he's going to be okay. But John Bell definitely getting the worst of it. Let's ride on the cockpit and see if it looks like he's just getting tight. Let's watch his steering wheel here, how far left it is and how it moves here. Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't, I got to be honest, I take that back. That doesn't look so much like he got tight. Looked maybe like he just thought he was clear, wasn't quite. 88 did start to get a little bit of a run as he was getting clear and started turning a little bit low. And he may not have been there when he first started going up, but he was certainly there by the time he got there. Take one more look at it. Go back live, check out how your front 5 are looking. William George now being scored as your leader, but that is because we did have a pit stop. Kenneth Redinger in 2nd, Jay Stinson 3rd. And double checking on, I believe these guys did indeed pit. I'd be surprised if you didn't with what was probably about 20, 23, 24 lap tires. Old tires. And yep, sure enough, the whole field did decide to come down and take tires. Again, you got 5 sets. You're not going to need all of those unless, even if we were to have a ton of cautions at the end, you're still not going to need all of those with the cautions, even if we go green all the way. So I like the strategy. I've seen some of these guys go ahead and take an extra set now, maybe get yourself set up, get some stage points. We talked about William George, your leader, Kenneth Redinger 2nd, Jay Stinson 3rd, David Traylor 4th, Trace Greer 5th, Joey Hickox in 6th, Sam Boutwell 7th, Riley Gomes in 8th, Philip Willis 9th, and Matthew Fritz rounding out your top 10. There's John Lynch, currently running just outside your top 10. He is one of the drivers carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight, as he does almost every week. He's got one of the more simple setups. It looks like, I can't tell if he's got a direct drive or not. It almost looks like it's just a Logitech G920. Cool setup nonetheless. And then the new guy carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight is going to be your current leader, William George. Looking like he's in good position right now. Got the Fanatec setup going on, and he's waiting to see if we're going to get the one-to-go signal this time. William has shown plenty of glimpses where he's had a lot of speed. I think the only thing he's got to work on now is maybe being able to find it for the long run a little bit more consistently. Still got plenty of races to go before we get anywhere close to the playoffs. The off weeks, though, in NOMA, you got to wonder if it throws some of these guys off. I know some of them probably practice in the off week. Others, I'm not sure whether or not they do or not. But again, next week is going to be one of the off weeks. After that, these guys head to, I believe it's Pocono. I will not be here for that broadcast, but it will be getting covered by somebody. Just have to see who it is. So it looks like here in the chat, just before we go green, Nancy says, I'm prejudiced about the 90. I like the lighter colors. Paul Witt says, it's good to see the 90 out there this year. Missed racing with him last year. And Nancy says he missed it too. Also glad he's back. I don't get to watch him with the other leagues. Great job, commentators. Appreciate it, says S. Hins. Well, thank you. I'm assuming that might be Steven. That's Steven on track. Thanks for giving us a little love up here in the booth. Certainly appreciate it. All right, it is going to be 7 laps to go here in stage 1. That means it's a shootout all the way to the finish. Virtual fans along the fence, they're ready to see these guys go at it. William George and David Traylor, row 1. They might be able to hold off. We'll have to see what they can do here. Green flag is back in the air. Jay Stinson, Joey Hickox, the two teammates in row 2. 96 gets out to a good jump down into turn 1. He's going to look to pull away as they start to battle just behind. Joey Hickox, he's got to get clear to 40 right here. Looked like he maybe had it for just a minute. And sure enough, he does get clear into turn 3. He's going to have to line up now behind his teammate. If he takes the bottom, he does. Just behind Randy Bonomi, Matthew Fritz, a couple guys on the outside. The 9 truck. That's Gomes, Riley Gomes. He's really trying to pinch. Just trying to figure out who that was. Did he essentially chase Greer down? And it worked out. He was able to get clear after holding him really tight for a couple of turns. Meanwhile, William George now has company from David Traylor, who is on his back bumper. We'll see, does the 54 make a move here? Does he wait for him to slip? No, he is going to make the move right away. To the inside he goes. William George still on that middle line. He makes it work out of turn 4. He's got the lead, but the caution is back out. And it's going to be for a wreck involving Jimmy Scamordella, who is in the grass entering turn 3. And get back up on track. This caution may finish the stage off for us. It's going to be close. If nothing else, we will probably have a 1-lap shootout. Here we go. What happens to Jimmy here? Was running by himself. Is he just going to get a little loose? Oh, big checkups, big checkups. So this incident actually starts with Jeff Carl. And then you saw Jimmy was just an innocent bystander. Now does the 98 get loose all by himself? Looks like he sure enough does. Yep. Just loose, gets out of shape, maybe gets slightly tagged from Justin Parham. Comes back around up the track. And then the 88, Billy Davison, trying to avoid, goes down. Jimmy was trying to sneak by. Unfortunately, just couldn't quite get there. Take a couple more angles of it. Watch, just see Jimmy coming by on the inside. Right there, just gets tagged. The good news is that he did not hit any walls. Got a little bit of damage in the right rear from that contact, but again, don't think that's going to affect him here at a track like Nashville. You see, he gets loose by himself. Second time we've seen that tonight, William McKellar. And then, I don't know if Parham ever actually touches him. Looks like Justin does a good job. He gets a little loose in the process, but I don't know that he ever actually hit him. And then just the rest of the field, everybody doing everything they can to miss him. We'll take a couple more looks at it. And waiting if the camera ever decides to switch. Sure enough, there it goes. And that's where we saw Jimmy getting down to the grass. So Jeff Carl, maybe going to be a fast repair for the 98. Again, it is borderline, I think, on the damage on whether or not he's going to have to use it. I think Jimmy's going to get away without any issues. Going to be taking lap 33 right here. We're going to have to get the 1-to-go signal. Actually, we could get it next time and still go green. Yeah, so we're going to have a 1 or 2 lap shootout, depending on if we get the 1-to-go this time or next time. And it looks like we're going to get the 1-to-go next time. So it's going to be a 1-lap shootout to decide the winner of the stage. Going to go green on lap 35. Caution will be thrown on the start of lap 36. As Steve Hinn says, I'm his pop, love watching. Glad to see you out here watching. Rooting on Steven Hins. And he currently sits in the 12th position. As GT500 Cobra says, stage is on 45. And you know what? You are 100% right. And I had it in the info. And I wish I could tell you why I thought it was 35 all of a sudden. I read it pre-race, and not sure why we said it now. In fact, go back into the race info to show you. There it is. Stage 1 is lap 45. I apologize. And I started thinking here, actually, you know, again, I can't really question myself too much, but I started wondering. I was like, 35 sounds a little early here. I might be missing something, but I thought I'd remembered it right. I did not. Yep, stage 1, lap 45. Appreciate it, GT500 Cobra. Hey, if you're going to be in the chat, we appreciate when you guys help us out up here. I'm a one-man show right now in the booth in the sense of I'm going to make mistakes. I apologize for it, but thank you for that, GT Cobra. Nancy Hickok says, Austin is a good broadcaster. He keeps our attention with his energy. We love Austin. Well, thank you, Nancy. I certainly appreciate that. I got to be honest, Nashville is one of those tracks where it's not always the most fun in terms of, especially when you get on the long run to watch. But as a driver, it's a very, very fun track. Got to run the College Series race here, and it really is a mind game. It's a heavy, heavy tire-saving track. Once you get into the run, you have got to save tire. And there's really only that one groove that works. The first couple laps, again, maybe you can make the outside work, but you have got to find your way down to the inside eventually, especially as the track temp is as cool as it is here tonight. Clear skies, 75 degrees is still what the track temp's at, and it is currently 8:25 in sim time. 10% humidity, winds at 2 miles an hour. Perfect night. Tell you what, if we were in real life right now, this is one of those races you'd want to be at in person. So row 1, William George, David Traylor, they still sit 1-2. Jay Stinson and his teammate Joey Hickox, they're going to be sitting in row 2. And it's going to be Riley Gomes on the inside of row 3 with Chase Greer to the outside. So now I would say it starts to turn more into a sprint this time. As Esports Gaming Network says, what happened to the 24? That's a good question. I think Kenneth, yeah, he's exited the race. Big issues for Kenneth Redinger. I'm not sure. He must have had an internet issue or something. That's catastrophic for the 24 as he has already lost more laps than he will probably be able to recover. Man, he had a fast truck tonight. You hate to see that. Not sure exactly, just assuming that's what would happen because, yeah, he's not on track anymore. See if we can get more info on that maybe later on in the race. The 96 of William George, in the meantime, during the green flag, pulls away down the backstretch. Jay Stinson was able to slide into second as the 54 and the 3 remain side by side, and just about everybody else behind does as well. Haven't really seen anyone utilizing that apron here at Nashville. Some people have superstitions about it. I think some guys think maybe it wears your tires a little bit more. Not sure if that's necessarily the case. I think more or less you just don't really need to unless you have a big run and you get blocked all the way down to the bottom and that's the only lane left. Jay Stinson, where is he going to make his move? We saw the 54 getting ready to try his just as we saw the caution last time. But with Kenneth Redinger out of the race, I mean, this opens the door big time for a lot of guys to have a big, big points night here tonight. I think we're going to probably see potentially a new winner again. At Daytona, we saw Richard Hurst get the win. Auto Club, we saw Matthew Fritz. So already 2 guys that we didn't see get a win since I took over broadcasting last season with a win this season. How about that move right there from Joey Hickox on the bottom? We saw Jay get by the 96, but Joey taking it 3 wide. He gets the 2 for 1 as he gets by both of them, the 54. David Traylor gets really loose on the top. He was able to hold on. And how about Hickox racing 1-2 right now, the 54 in 3rd. Riley Gomes 4th, Sam Boutwell in 5th. Richard Hurst, he's still dicing around as it looked like the 44 got a little bit tight. That was Philip Willis, and this is a kind of a cluster right here. Stephen Hins, he worked his way around both of these guys, but now there's contact. This is going to be a big wreck. A couple of guys spinning around. The 4 trucks up into the wall. The 18 goes across the grass, and we've got a mess. Tyler Dudley's in it. The 15 Red Bull truck. Fourth caution of the night already here, just 40 laps completed. And now it's going to potentially be what we initially thought was a 1 to 2 lap finish in the stage. That's what this one's going to be. Stage being on lap 45. All right, let's take a look at it. Sometimes cautions breed cautions. And in general, this restart had seemed a lot more aggressive than the last few. You kind of figured something had to give eventually, and it finally did. Let's go back to Richard Hurst. That's where this is going to start. And, oh, does he get some help here from Stephen Hins? Looks like he certainly might from that angle. And you see Stephen rolling the bottom pretty well. Oh, the 2 just starts to slide up a little bit. Taps Richard Hurst in the left rear. And Richard's trying to save it back down up into the 22. He spins around the 4 truck, the 15 pile in. And Blaze Richardson, along with a couple other guys, go slide through the grass. Ooh, somebody came flying in there at the last second. Tagged Richard again. Insult to injury. Just slight contact. Again, the 2 might have thought that the 76 was going to throttle up a little bit sooner than he did. And unfortunately, they both get caught up in the wreck. I think the 2 was able to actually sneak away, though. Richard Hurst doesn't look like too bad a damage, at least not in the front. But Russ Kilgore, he got spun around, hit the outside wall. Take a couple more angles of it here. First from Richard Hurst's view. And he's trying to save it. I mean, look how far the wheel is to the right. Just not enough. Goes for a slide. Lucky that he did not get hit by... Well, he got hit by one other guy right here. Boom. Actually, so he did get hit in the front end. It didn't look as bad as it seemed right there, but, man, with a hit that hard, I would have to assume that might have to be a fast repair. We're sitting here waiting to see if we can get to the stage break before we take a commercial break. So as we go back live, don't expect anybody to pit that was running towards the front. How about Hickox Racing? They have looked really speedy here to start so far in stage 1 at Nashville. Jay Stinson is leading the way. His teammate Joey Hickox is going to be starting to his outside. David Traylor in 3rd. Riley Gomes 4th. And Sam Boutwell rounding out your top 5. William George in 6th. Matthew Dyer 7th. John Lynch 8th. Philip Willis in 9th. Stephen Hins rounding out your top 10. There's Russ Kilgore, just involved in that last incident. And William McKellar has now started to get his way back towards that top 10. He's another guy that seemed to have a fast truck based off of qualifying. If he can get back up into the top 5, that's when we're really going to have a chance to see if that truck is the showcase piece that it looked like in qualifying. Started on the outside pole, but unfortunately went around on the first lap. Didn't have much damage, but just kind of got trapped in the back. Couple more incidents since then. But finally, tell you what, as a driver, it seems like it can take a whole race, feel like a whole race, to finally get anywhere close to where you started in an incident like what William McKellar had to deal with earlier. But he fought through, persevered. Here he is. 1 to go signal, so it's going to be a 3-lap shootout to determine the stage winner. William George fell back all the way to 6th during that last little green flag run. Not sure if he's on a different tire strategy or if he's just starting to struggle. But the 96 has to try to hold on here for these next 3 laps, and those laps are going to go by in a hurry. Jay choosing the outside here. That's a little bit of a surprising move. He's going to have to make sure he gets a good restart. Maybe just trying to help his teammate out. I bet you, I tell you what, I think that's actually what it is. We know the inside is a preferred lane here. Jay probably feeling pretty comfortable about getting a good enough restart to get in front of his teammate before turn 1. and at the same time helping Joey out by letting him not have to worry about trying to fight down to the inside, as he will be starting there. Question is, what can the 9 of Riley Gomes do and the 54 of David Traylor do? We have seen a couple of 3-wide moves already, so we know it's possible. Here we go. 3 laps to go in stage 1. Green flag is back in the air at Nashville. Good jump from Jay Stinson. That's exactly what you expected. He gets way out ahead of the field as he's going to jump down in front of Joey down into turn 1. Joey is clear of second by plenty. Behind these two, they're going to start to shuffle and try to battle it out. Sam Boutwell on the inside. John Lynch is trying to make his way through the pack here late. Can he break into the top 5 as we cross the line this next time with only 2 laps to go? 44 to the inside. And just in front of them, the 9 truck, there was almost some contact there between Riley Gomes and John Lynch. Can we make it to the stage? 2 laps to go now. Can Joey track him down? Couple truck length gap. Under 0.2 of a second. The 54 still hanging around. But Jay looks like he might be on cruise control, although that time he ran the middle. Joey ran the bottom, and it really helped Joey out. He's closing the gap now down the backstretch. Tell you what, he's not going to get much draft right here down the front, but whatever he gets, he's going to have to use, and yellow flag is back in the air. Oh, that's a big, big wreck this time for Russ Kilgore and Sam Boutwell. Front end of the 4 was busted up pretty bad. And this will end the stage. Jay Stinson will be your stage winner. Joey comes in second. David Traylor third. Riley Gomes fourth. And William George finishing 5th in stage 1. Let's take a look up. Here you go. 3 wide again entering turn 3. Seems like the 3 wide has not worked out too well so far tonight. And it's not going to work out too well again here. Actually, I guess you could say it happened just in front. Does Russ drift up? Excuse me. The 44 of Philip Willis. Yeah, maybe just a slight move up. It was kind of hard to tell. See if we can get a better angle from the chopper. Watch the 47 and the 44. It's close, man. It's really, really close. I think maybe the 44 was just slightly creeping up. And then there might have been a tiny bit of netcode between the two that turns the 44 up into that outside wall. Big hit. William McKellar might have made a little bit of contact, but he's able to get through overall unscathed. And Philip Willis definitely got the worst of it, to say the least. Let's take a couple more views of it. I apologize. Looks like, tell you what, this happens a couple times every single season. I've gotten better with it, but looks like the mic I did accidentally have muted and forgot to unmute it. So let me know in chat how long I was muted for, if you guys heard any of what I was talking about during that replay or not. I'll go ahead and break down again if you didn't get any of it. So stage 1 complete, getting ready to go to stage 2. And that wreck just looked like one of those things. One guy just slightly coming up, the other guy maybe slightly coming down. Big hit into the outside wall, and then in Russ Kilgore and Sam Boutwell's case, just a mistake. But not a mistake that could be helped, you know? I mean, the 4 truck maybe didn't realize how bad the damage was, otherwise he would have bailed out a little sooner. Maybe the caution hadn't been out just yet, and he thought we were going to have to make another corner trying to get the position, but yeah, that thing just did not turn once they got down into the corner. We are going to take a quick break here. We'll be back for the restart. Stick with us as we go side by side. We'll be right back.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live just in time for the restart here for Stage 2 at Nashville Superspeedway. If you're just tuning in, we appreciate you being here. Richard Hurst, Tyler Dudley lead us back. Green flag is in the air. Good jump for Richard Hurst right off the bat. He's going to pull up to the top, but he has got plenty of lanes. He can pick whichever one he wants down into turn one. And, you know, mix up of some different strategies here, so we're going to have to see how they all play out. And you got to ask yourself, how did Keith Prince go from 2 laps down at the start of this thing up to what is now 3rd place, up 13th from where he started? Big shout out right now to the 03 truck. He's doing a heck of a job. Robert Duvendak, great to see him back in the field tonight. I can't believe that we didn't mention him yet. I apologize about that. The driver out of Massillon, I think I'm saying that right, Ohio. One of the veterans. You'll catch him in the Super Speedway Series before. You'll catch him in the Truck Series. Shooter McGavin Motorsports, the 15, going for a slide. Gets into the grass, but I think he's going to save it. He does. Only downside is that he lost all of his track position. He's still in the grass. Got to be a little careful right here. And he does a good job of holding it down there. We are officially 1/3 of the way through this race. Stage 2, and I should have this one right unless I'm completely just not on it tonight. Stage 2 set to fall on lap, or ends on lap 77 rather, so the caution will fall at the start of lap 78. So about 28 laps from now. You know, it's a decent ways to go. I would say if maybe you stay tired here for the first 10 to 15 laps, then I think you got to start pushing it if you want a chance to catch the leaders. But man, Richard Hurst all of a sudden looks like he got shot out of a cannon. He is up 19 positions from where he started during that restart, or from the start of the race rather. Keith Prince is hanging in there, less than a second behind your leader. Duvendak up to 3rd. Hickox and David Traylor 4th and 5th. Jay Stinson fell back after winning the stage. He is now trapped in the middle of the 3 wide. Oh, that's going to get a little sketchy. Maybe almost made some contact. If not, maybe did make some contact right there with William George. Or excuse me, William George just ahead of, with Guy Bracco rather. And then the 18 now of Blaze Richardson. He's going to go ahead and try to get by on the outside. It's not going to work though, as Jay was able to fight back. And now he is going to be able to fight around the 69. I'll tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, Nashville, it's not a wide track. 3 wide is doable, but it is not comfortable. That top and middle line, they just don't seem to roll too well here. You really got to kind of hug the bottom and hug it until you're ready to start working your way up on exit. Yellow flag is back in the air. Going back. It's the 98 of Jeff Carl. He's in it. Oh, we got a little bit of a parking lot here on the front stretch. Sam Boutwell, the 5 of John Bell, is back in it. 6 caution already here of the night. Let's go back and take a look. There's the 98 of Jeff Carl. Everything looks okay here. Is this going to start in front? Oh, it does. Justin Parham gets spun. Not sure exactly what he got spun by, though. See if the chopper gives... Oh, 3 wide. Hey, what were we just talking about that doesn't work very well? And Parham and maybe came down a little bit at first, but then it looked like he had a pretty straight line going here, unless I'm missing anything. Starts to come down there and then straightens it up. But at the same time, William McKellar's starting to come up a little bit. They make some contact. Sends the 19 into the wall, and then some of these other guys are going to get involved here with just nowhere to go. See the 47 slide in. Randy Bonomi's going to hit the outside wall before tagging the 19. And it has just kind of been that kind of night with a caution-filled race kind of feel to it since we started with one early on. And these guys struggling a little bit right now to get some green flag laps in. Still plenty of hope, though, as we still have over half of the race to go. Only 55 of 150 complete. This is going to bring anybody that had damage and maybe a couple guys who are looking to take tires, depending on when they took their last set. Try a little strategy. Richard Hurst, though, is your leader. Keith Prince in second. Robert Duvendak third. Joey Hickok fourth. And David Traylor currently rounding out your top 5. Let's see if we can't get a quick word with Robert Duvendak on his return tonight. Hey, Robert, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
How you doing, Austin?
Good. Well, we're glad to see you back in the field tonight. Looking strong early. You find yourself in the 3rd position right now. What's the game plan here to try to get up, get the lead here, and get the win for this next stage?
Well, I'll be honest with you. I don't think I got the skill or tire to get the lead before the stage. I'm just trying to save a set of tires, so I stayed out. I pitted on that last one, but I just took fuel. So I'm saving a set here just in case we need it at the end of the race. So just going to kind of try to survive up here, try to get a decent finish. I think we got 21 laps left in the stage. And see if we can score some points here for stage. And if not, well, I saved a set of tires in the process. So.
Well, we've seen a lot of cautions, so I know you might have the tire set saved. But do you think if we kind of continue the caution trend, what do you go for at the end? The tires or the track position?
I mean, if we continue to have cautions like this, the field's going to dwindle some. So the track position might already be there at that point, and it's just going to depend on how these cautions fall and how everything plays out. But tires don't seem to be too much of a issue here tonight. At least, I mean, with all these cautions, I've been able to kind of save them. But I mean, I'm on 30 lap old tires right now, and I was able to kind of hold my own right here. So that'll also play in my decision later, depending on how good these tires hold up here to the end of the stage.
All right. Well, we will be keeping an eye on you the rest of the way. Good luck tonight.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And that is Robert Duvendak for Shooter McGavin Motorsports. His 2 teammates that are in the field tonight, Jimmy Scamordella. 2 teammates that are in the field tonight. It's going to be Guy Bracco and Jimmy Scamordella. And let's see, it looks like Nancy Hickok says, so Paul Witt, nothing has changed. We apparently love cautions. I'm thinking over 10 tonight. No give, all take. Yeah, I certainly agree. I had a race that I was going to potentially do at 12 o'clock tonight, but those plans may have to get rescheduled because at this rate, I don't know if these boys are going to be done by then. Halfway mark is still over 25 laps from now. In fact, it's about 29. But everybody trying to fight for track position on the restarts because they know that it's just so hard to pass when things settle down. That's part of a product of what you get at a track like Nashville. But it's certainly a good mix. Again, I think it's one of those tracks that if you're one of the more technical guys, you favor it. I know Kenneth Redinger was certainly loving it. He had a very fast truck. Unfortunately, one of the 3 Grandstand Racing teammates in the field tonight came to an end early with some sort of technical difficulty. Matthew Dyer is up there, though. He currently sits in 8th. Justin Parham involved in the last incident. We'll see if he can get back up here. It's going to be Richard Hurst and Keith Prince in row 1. Robert Duvendak and Joey Hickox making up row 2. Not too surprised to see Joey back up there. Has the Flatwoods number 3 Chevy Silverado paint scheme out here tonight. And now this is going to put us on this restart with 19 laps to go in stage number 2. I think maybe still a little bit of tire saving worthy, but at this point, you might have to go with the amount of cautions that we're seeing. We are about to find out as the pace truck takes the hard left-hander. Hurst and Prince, row 1. Duvendak and Hickox, row 2, back up into the Geico restart zone. Can he match the restart this time? He can't. It's another great jump for Richard Hurst. Duvendak gets a pretty good one as well. I think he's going to get clear before we even get down to turn 1. Yeah, sure enough, the 99 does. He's going to take that position as the 54 is going to take his position, the rightfully position that he feels he deserves. Takes it right away from Chase Greer. Everybody battling it out back here right now. John Lynch on the outside, William George along with the 9 of Riley Gomes on the inside. Out of turn 4, they're still able to stay side by side. They've been able to for most of the night. For about 2 laps, track temp has not changed from where it started at. However, in sim time, it is now 9:12. Started out at about sunset race, went right on into sundown. How cool would it be if Richard Hurst, I know it's a long ways to go still, but how cool would it be if this guy could somehow find a way to get the win out here tonight? I mean, think about it. You win Daytona, and you come out, you win Nashville. 2 tracks that are on just complete opposite sides of the spectrum. One of them a very fast drafting. Oh, we got one in the grass. Hold on. Who couldn't tell who it was? Philip Willis, maybe? No. That's the 96 of William George. What a save. Somehow holds on, but man, that was a close call. Let's take a look. Out of the turn, looks like it's all good. Oh, the 9 just comes down, and not sure if it was a netcode door or a physically doored him. But William George was able to get out of the grass without hitting anything, so he's going to be fine. Just loses some track position. And Nancy Cox says, yes, sir, no such thing as teams when points are on the line. It certainly has had that kind of feel to it tonight. 62 of 150 laps completed. If you're just tuning in, again, we appreciate you being here. Things have been a little messy, but again, as the more it gets spread out, the less likely that we're going to see a caution that it is. If we see a green flag pit stop, which we could see in that final stage, I think that's really what would separate the field and allow it to be a long run. Some of these guys prefer the long run, and some of them not so much. They are saying, can we not go more than probably 30, 40 laps on a single set of tires? Going back a little bit, there's Riley Gomes, currently sitting in the 10th position. Last guy in the top 10, but down 3 from where he started. One of the guys really going in the positive direction, though, is going to be Christopher Bonomi. Currently sits in 15th position, but he is up 16 from where he started. On the inside, the 94 of Christopher Bonomi. You see he's got the Ghost. Looks like Chips Ahoy. I guess energy drink? Not sure if it's the energy drink or a sort of powder. But I've heard Ghost is pretty good. I think it's an energy drink. I'm pretty sure it is. Out of turn 4, Richard Hurst still with a comfortable lead, but maybe not for long because Joey Hickox has now gotten around Robert Duvendak, and he has 13 laps starting now to track down your current leader. The gap between the two is just over half a second. So I think Joey definitely has time to be there. I think it's important, though, if you're Joey, don't over push the truck right now. There's no need. You seem to be faster. You got plenty of time. Slowly creep up there and try to kind of work him over. See if you can't get that spot before the end of the stage. And speaking of the end of the stage, gonna fall 10 laps from now. Oh, Guy Bracco with major issues. And yeah, he has taken a spin. Wow, that was heavy damage. You saw the front end of that thing. There was nothing left. What is going to happen here? That was the last incident that we saw. Take a look at this incident that just occurred, though. Guy on the bottom, no harm, no foul. Everything seems to be okay. And then he gets up the track a little bit. Albert Hewins is there. It turns him around. Big hit into the outside wall, and then somehow everybody else that goes by was able to get by. I say everybody else. There wasn't really anybody else to worry about, so I guess I should say that nobody had to worry about getting by in this case. Back live. You see he is in the pits now. Guy Bracco, that is going to be a night ender for him. Unless he's able to use that fast repair before he goes too many laps down. Richard Hurst still holding that comfortable lead at right around half a second. We'll see if he can hold on to that for the next 10 laps now officially. 68 in. And that final stage, again, not exactly sure how far everybody can go on fuel. This is just a wild, not a wild guess, but a little bit of a more educated guess, I guess. In the general window here for fuel, probably 60, maybe around 60 laps for all these guys. At about 1.5 mile track. The thing that's working against them, though, is the tires. How long do you choose to stay out on the tire set you have? Do you maybe try the strategy of running them hard early and then pitting early? Maybe saving a little bit after that? Or do you save them in that first run and then do you burn them off on the second? I do think whichever decision you decide to go with, we're only going to see one pit stop in that final stage. You better make sure that you are perfect for it. Joey Hickox has arrived on scene. He is now on the back bumper of Richard Hurst. You know he's looking for a move. When's he going to make it? There we go. First man that's going to use the apron all night. Gets extra low. Oh, my goodness. I think he may have even made some slight contact there with Richard. I am not sure how that did not end up sending Richard spinning down to the inside wall. But you saw Joey. He got down there. It worked for a minute, but then when he had to get back up, it looked like it was a bit of a struggle for anybody to let him do so. So he's going to get sent back a couple tenths. But he's got still going to be 7 laps this time to work his way back up. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. Going back, Guy Bracco and Albert Hewins both off the track in the pits. John Bell, last truck currently on track. Jeff Carl in 27th, Ron Fenton 26th, and Paul Witt says I think they can only go about 32 to 35 laps on fuel. And you know what, Paul? Again, this is looking like one of those things where I must just be a lot more tired than I thought I am tonight. Because you're right. And when you said that, well, I'm not sure about the lap count, but that sounds a lot more accurate because I just remembered these guys aren't 100% fuel like a lot of the leagues I run. They only do 70. And that might be right around in that window. I guessed, what did I say? I thought I said around 60. So we'll have to see what happens. Kenneth Renninger in the chat. Boy, Kenneth, we hate to see it for you. Glad you're tuning in to watch these guys finish it up, though. There's the move. Joey has gotten around the 76 of Richard Hurst. He was able to get to the inside. And just not much contest. Did Richard maybe use his stuff up a little bit too much in the front, or has Joey found something? His teammate won stage 1. He very well could have a shot at winning stage 2 right here. I am impressed so far at this run at how many trucks have been able to stay as close to the front as they have for as long as they have. I mean, you could throw the top 5 well under a blanket. Trace Greer, top 6 even. Matthew Dyer in 6th, Chase Greer in 5th, David Traylor 4th, Keith Prince in 3rd, Richard Hurst in 2nd. And there's Joey Hickox trying to scoot away from the field now. Has it up to 0.3 of a second. It looks like they're getting a little racy out back right now. That's Keith Prince and David Traylor. Trace Greer looked like he had a chance to make a move, but to the inside of Richard Hurst now goes Keith Prince. That was a beautifully executed 3-wide move. Second time we've seen that tonight, and it has worked well. It's almost like some guys know that they're going to have to give eventually once we get into the turn. And some guys just kind of hand it over, which certainly helps. Kenneth said my VR wasn't holding a charge. Yeah, that's a tough one, Kenneth. You know, you certainly had a fast truck out here tonight. 75 laps down. 3 laps to go in stage number 2. We are officially halfway through the Nashville 200. And actually, I take it back. It's the Blue Ridge Auto Group 200, but it is here at Nashville Superspeedway. Joey continues to extend that lead. Got it up to half a second now. And if he can keep it there for this next lap, then he will be on cruise control for the white flag lap. With Kenneth being gone, everything has seemed to have gone right so far for Hickox Racing tonight. I got to think if Joey is able to finish this stage off with a win, they've got to be saying to Team Chat, guys, one of us have got to get the win tonight. We've got the fastest trucks on the track. We seem to have it figured out. The luck has been on our side. It's got to be our night, but we will just have to wait and find out. David Traylor, he's been doing a good job tonight, up 2 from where he started. Matthew Dyer in 3rd, Keith Prince 4th, Chase Greer 5th. But keep going back because it's another pack. Richard Hurst in 6th, up 14 from where he started. Robert Duvendak up 22 from where he started. He sits in 7th. Jay Stinson 8th, Matthew Fritz 9th, and Philip Willis rounding out your top 10. It is currently the final lap of the stage, but we didn't have to focus too hard on your leader because there's not much going on. He is way out in front, still over 0.7 of a second, and out of turn 4. Your Stage 2 winner at Nashville is going to go to the number 3 truck, Hickox Racing's Joey Hickox. He gets the Stage 2 win. Caution is in the air, but again, it is a scheduled one for your Stage 2 winner. We are going to make sure that we get an interview with your stage winner when we get back. Before then, we're going to take that quick side-by-side break. Stick with us.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live at Nashville Superspeedway. Got your Stage 2 winner up here in the booth, Mr. Joey Hickox. Joey, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, looking pretty fast so far. We know Kenneth had some issues, but he's here in the chat saying he's got his money on the 3 truck tonight. First of all, you and Jay have both looked fast. Jay got a Stage 1 win. You're getting a Stage 2 win. What's the game plan the rest of the way to look for your first victory on the season?
Try to maintain this track position, stay up front. I know and if Jason gets back up here, he's really fast here. I know Matt Dyer's fast, and then that 54 truck, I'm sorry, I don't remember his name, but he's really quick tonight too. So goals tonight to get a top 5 is not really one of my favorite places, so kind of pleased with this run we have going tonight.
Well, we've seen maybe a couple guys working the outside line for the restarts, but overall it seems like the inside has been dominant. How important is it going to be here for you to try to maintain the clean air?
Clean air is king here, so that's one reason I was able to scoot away there at the end, is because of the clean air. So if I can maintain that, we'll be all right, top 2 or 3, and come down to this final 10-lap shootout or something that we get. Sure with all the cautions we've had, we'll probably end up with a little short stint at the end there.
All right, well, if we do, hopefully you'll have a tire set left over. Until then, 70 laps to go. Seems like a long way, but you're looking fast. We'll see if you can hold on and get the job done.
All right, thanks, sir.
Jay Hickox, he said he feels like Jay is fast, but, we saw what kind of happening to Jay now happen with William McKellar, in the sense of you get back in not lap traffic, but just traffic in general, and it's so hard to get back to the front. You can't really make passes on the outside, and as much as you can kind of try the late entry into the corner here at Nashville, arc it down, it just doesn't seem to work. You have to just kind of get to the inside of a guy and then force him up in the next corner a little bit, or make him run the high lane. It's the only move that's really worked after the first couple laps of a restart. Looks like Nancy says, yeah, Joey, okay, J.O., get in the pits and get up front. Paul Witt says, maybe he looks strong, but you never know. And Chase, good to see you in here. I think we caught you in the last broadcast. Good to see you back here tonight. Hope you are having a good Saturday night. Appreciate everybody joining us. 11:10 Eastern on a Saturday. And what better way to spend it than watching the NOMA Truck Series presented by Manny Rays go at it under the lights of Nashville Superspeedway. So looking at your top 5, we just talked to Joey, Stage 2 winner, and going to be the one leading them back to green. Matthew Dyer in 2nd. Trace Greer 3rd. David Traylor 4th. Robert Dumendak 5th. Richard Hurst in 6th. Jay Stinson 7th. Philip Willis in 8th. John Lynch in 9th. And there's Matthew Fritz. Been running around the top 10 a decent amount of the night, and that's where he stands now. In the number 29 truck, Riley Gomes and William McKellar. Still 2 of the guys that have had fast trucks tonight. And I really want to see what they can do if they can get back to the front. So Joey, being out in front here, he's kind of expecting to get a late caution. But, you know, I feel like you can't plan on that from the start. Again, expecting, I would say, potentially one green flag stop would be my general guess. We'll know for sure on when they do make that first stop. I would say they make it probably around halfway, maybe at about lap 115. I'm going to say about lap 115. We'll have to see how everybody decides to go about it, though. And that's going to have to be a money stop. If you mess it up and you lose some positions, that could very well end your night. First time Matthew Dyer's been in the front row as well. Let's see what he can do starting on the inside. Back up to the Geico restart zone, and the green flag is back in the air. 68 laps to go at Nashville. Good restart for Joey Hickox. He looks to scoot away already down in turns 1 and 2. Matthew Dyer able to hold on to second. He's now lined up on the inside. Chase Greer along with the 54. We got a wreck out back here. No caution yet, but it could certainly draw one, and there it is. Chaos in the back. The 94, Christopher Bonomi, is around. Disappointment for all the John Lynch fans, as he is another one of the guys that was involved in that wreck. This was towards the back. You see the 90 spinning there, but I think this is going to maybe happen in front of him. And let's go back here and look from the blimp cam. Watch a little bit in front right here. Somebody going to get loose, or is there going to be some contact? And yep, there you see it up top, the 44. Looks like Willis is getting loose. And coming down, he clips Jay. Oh, that turns Jay into the outside wall. He's not able to save it. Man, that was a fast truck with big damage. He's going to have to use his fast repair on that one. And Jay with the damage come back down. But everybody was able to miss him. You see the 2 truck right there. He tags the wall a little bit. Let's take a couple different views of it. Just, you know, it's kind of been the story of this race. A lot of guys have had troubles with just getting loose, especially when you're on that top line. Just happens again there. Cold tires. You got to be really, really careful with it the first couple laps. And it caught him off guard that time for sure. Was not able to hold on. And causes us another caution. This is probably the 7th or 8th caution here of the night. Joey would like to see it go longer here. But he's going to have to hope for that. Another good restart here first. Going to go back green probably around lap 90, maybe 88. So that's still going to give us 60 laps or so. Nancy Hickok says, Nancy, I feel the same way. Certainly like to see the race and get into it a little bit so we can see some of those storylines develop. See who looks like they're going to have the truck that can set themselves up for the victory, so on and so forth. But not going to quite happen this time. Hey, I'll tell you what. I'm starting to run out of usual notes that we have here, as we've had an unusual amount of cautions here to start tonight. So when you run out of things to say, we head right over to the announcement board. Not too exciting, but nonetheless, we head over to the NSRA Sunday Select Series tomorrow night. Now, what was exciting was the race that we saw last week from the series. First broadcast last week for Ghost, and it came down to Cody Nagels making an insane comeback the last 2 laps of that race and collecting his 2nd championship and $300 to top it off. And tomorrow night's going to be the season opener. Make sure you don't miss out. Again, it is going to be a good one. 80 laps in the Xfinity Series at Talladega Superspeedway. It's the Ricky Bobby Foundation 212. Excited for it. Let's go back live. Let's check out the NOMA schedule. We're going to hold off on the interviews for now because we haven't gotten far enough since to really have anything to interview anybody about. And looking at the schedule, a couple things got changed again. Next week is an off week before these guys are going to head to Pocono. Tricky Triangle, that's going to be a fun one. I look to see Kenneth Redinger be good there as well. Then we go to Legacy Atlanta. A lot of these guys love that track. That's a fun one to watch, a fun one to drive, but man, it is tough. Going to have to do a lot of tire saving there. And at the same time, it's still a very, very fast track, a lot of throttle time. Miami, first time that I'll be broadcasting a race at Homestead. Interested to see who can make the top line work the best. And some of the highlights after that to put on your schedule, the Indy Oval after the off week. And then when we head into October, we hit up Talladega, Charlotte, and then New Atlanta. Those are 3 phenomenal races, all back-to-back-to-back. The playoffs going to kick us off at Michigan, followed by Kansas. The round of 8 going to be Las Vegas and Chicagoland, last year's championship track. And the new championship track this year for the Final Four is going to be Texas. And I know Texas gets a lot of bad slack, I would say, but I am a big fan of that track. Racing it is a blast. Watching it's pretty cool too because there is different lines you can work there. Top 2, 3, and 4 works. 1 and 2, you can make it work. You eat up more tires. But it's one of those tracks where 2 lines work. It's just a matter of how much can you save tire and at the same time push. Very fast on one end of the track and slower on one end. It's an exciting track all the way around. SPINO Racing, assuming that's John Lynch, says brakes are a thing. John, not too happy about that last incident. Don't blame you, John, but looked like your damage wasn't too bad. I'm sure we'll see you back up here in just a few laps. So Dyer and Hickox making up row 1. Greer and the 54 of Trailer making up row 2. This is another good run for Chase tonight. He had some speed during Speed Weeks, the Clash. Couldn't get it done at Daytona for the big race. Last week, not the best run either, but certainly looking good so far this week as he now sits inside your top 4. Green flag in the air. Another really good jump for Joey Hickox. He's going to go with the same strategy right here to try to pull away from the rest of the field. You see Matthew Dyer is already tracking his footsteps. Wow, that was a really, really good turn 1 for the 28. And Joey knows that, oh, Dyer's going to try the high side here. This is not the move I was expecting. Can he make it work? Looks like he's not quite going to be able to. Is able to hold some momentum down the straightaway. You see he's getting run. He's running in the draft of Joey here. Watch for the move. Not quite going to make it. He's going to back off. And I think Dyer is trying to push extra hard right here. And he is. He's going to get to the inside. Joey not able to block it. They're going to go side by side down the backstretch. Oh, looks like Riley Gomes with trouble. We got a couple guys off here in the back. One in the grass. Do they all save it? So we got one half spun, and it's going to bring the caution back out here again. And the 20, or the 9 truck rather, Riley Gomes, I think was the truck that ended up actually bringing it out. 9th caution of the night says we hit 90 laps in, so if you do that math, pretty simple, we're averaging a caution every 10 laps. Let's go back and see what happens here. First incident here, they gathered up. I don't think this is what brings the caution out. See, Bonomi's loose right here. Yeah, Bonomi loose. Him in the 96 makes some contact. Bonomi pretty much spins after that, gets into the 9. That sends the 9 for a slide. Takes a pretty good tank slapper on the left side into the wall before coming back up here. Tries to keep it off the track, can't quite do so. Everybody else misses him. But that slide does indeed bring out the caution. And wonder if Joey is starting to lose his mind a little bit because he did say he'd like to go a little bit longer here, but just has not been able to happen yet. Take a look at this from the roll bar. He tries to save it, but he just gets behind on his steering. And man, getting in the grass is so frustrating because there's nothing you can do. That grass is so slick. And it's just, he's got the wheel turned right, just can't get it turned around in time. Feels like you're on ice. There's the big slide. And that could be a fast pair. He did take a pretty decent shot in the left side. It's going to be tough to say. You know, Nashville isn't as probably the most aerodependent track we head to, but it's certainly one where you don't want to have damage on the front. There's Bonomi. He does a good job saving this once he does get into the grass. And the 9 just simply runs out of room. And then right here comes back up. And there's the spin. And there's the caution that follows. So Matthew Dyer, during all that, was able to complete the pass on Joey Hickox. We saw him get side by side. David Traylor is still 3rd. Robert Duvendak now to 4th. Chase Greer loses a spot back to 5th. Richard Hurst 6th. Matthew Fritz 7th. He's making a couple spots up here during all these cautions. Justin Parham 8th, William McKellar 9th, and William George rounding out your top 10. See if we get the one to go signal this time. Looks like we have not yet. We're going to go at least one more time around. So these guys now going to go green with probably about 55 laps to go. It's just how the races go sometimes. I mean, you look back to Auto Club last week, we had a phenomenal race all the way up towards the end, and then all of a sudden, the caution started, and they just would not stop. Caution after caution towards the end. We went into green-white checkers. They still wouldn't stop. We had 3 green-white checkers, and, of course, on the third one, that's it. Caution came out. Matthew Dyer got the win. We did not race it back to the line. And tonight has just been really out of characteristic and very messy for the NOMA Truck Series. The little glimpses of racing that we've got have been pretty good. I like the battle for the lead that had been shaping up right there. I think Joey was being more conservative on the tires. I think Dyer was pushing it to try to get to the clean air. Didn't get a chance to see how it was going to pan out, though. And now, both of these guys' tires have had a chance to cool. So we'll see how well they both fire off and how aggressive Joey is willing to run the 28 of Dyer right here. Lights are off, so we are going to go back green on lap 94 of 150. Again, reminder that the NOMA Truck Series will not be broadcast next week because it's an off week. The week after that, I don't believe it's going to be broadcasted on Ghost Racing Network. I think first guess would be it's going to be broadcasted by Richard Hurst on NOMA TV. Again, Richard, one of the guys in the field tonight, carrying an onboard cam. He does do the Super Speedway Series. Does a heck of a job. Make sure you go check out Richard. See him racing in one night, broadcasting in the other. There he is, has the VR headset on. Yeah, I don't know how those guys can do VR, man. That would get me so dizzy. John Lynch, after being involved in that wreck, is 21st. Again, just kind of trapped in some of that traffic. Been the story of anybody that's really had speed tonight. It's been the story of it. You get trapped in the back, and you have to worry about getting caught up in a wreck. Not only that, but it's just the passing has just not really been an option. And now that the sun's been fully set for a little while now, in fact, as we look at the weather, it is now going to be, looks like 10 o'clock sim time. Yep, sure enough, 10:05 sim time. And track temp is now down to 74. Green flag is back in the air. That is just going to continue to help the bottom out. Good jump from Matthew Dyer. Joey Hickok stuck on the outside, was not able to get, as Raymond Daniel Sr. says, Dyer didn't win last week. Fritz won. And yeah, I know that. Did I say Dyer won or something? If I did, I apologize. I'm sitting here. I didn't think I did though. Yeah, no, I know Matthew Fritz won last week. We were talking about we went into the 3 cautions. He was leading at the time of the last caution. Now, I know earlier in the race I initially had mistaken and said Fritz I knew had finished on the podium, and I said he had finished first. But I'm assuming just now I must have said that. Either way, back to the action on track. They're side by side right now, Chase Greer and Matthew Fritz. Fritz looking to the inside with William George trying to follow. Parham was on the outside trying to make it work, and actually Chase is holding pretty strong right here. He's going to be able to hold it for another lap or two. He's got to run down the straightaway, but you see everybody drops to the bottom, so he's not able to grab any draft. That helps Matthew Fritz out, allows him to stay side by side down the straightaway, and then usually that shorter route around the turn, wrapping that inside line, is all you really need to try to stay out or get in front of the guy that you're racing. But Chase was able to hold him off there. Chase does stick to the outside. I think he's got to try to get back to the inside here as soon as he can. And does he get clear this time? He does. Slams the door on Matthew Fritz. That was the battle for 6th position. Meanwhile, back up front, Matthew Dyer has put about 0.6 of a second gap between him and the battle for 2nd. David Traylor, Joey Hickox, Joey on the inside, David on the outside. And Richard Hurst is watching these two, waiting to see if one of them is going to slip up. And he would pounce. Neither of them make a mistake so far. Joey tucks back down in line. We haven't had a chance for anybody to really had to worry about saving their tires yet. This could be that opportunity. If we start getting on the long run right here, these guys may have to save some tire, and then whoever has saved the best at the end, we're going to see them march their way to the front before we see what should now, at least, yeah, now should be that final green flag pit stop. And again, what do you do for your stop here? You got 3 options, right? Pit early, try to shortcut the field, get out in front, but then you're going to have to hold the guys on newer tires off once they pit. You could split it in half. I'm kind of a fan of that option right here. And maybe pit somewhere around lap 120 to 125. Maybe a little bit sooner, maybe more towards lap 120. Or you run it late. You pit later than everybody else. You'll have the newest tires at the end, so you can push the hardest. But then you run the risk of maybe run out of laps to catch back up. The 54, David Traylor, has now moved up into second just behind these guys. We had a battle of guys thinking they were going to go 3 wide for a minute. Robert Duvendak, Chase Greer, and William George. They thought about it a couple times. I think George decided he would just tuck back into line. Ooh, he got tight, washed up the turn a little bit. I think he had to check up more than he was expecting right there for Chase Greer. And he looks to the outside, maybe going to give a little push to Duvendak if he was close enough, but he's not. Duvendak does get clear. William George is going to try to go around the same exact way. He looks to the outside. Can have all the momentum down the straightaway. Duvendak jumped high, and now he's going to drop back low. There's Justin Parham, one of the 2 remaining Grandstand Racing drivers in the field tonight. And of course, he is trying to go see if he's got the speed that his teammate has, Matthew Dyer, who does lead the way, but now by 0.2 of a second. And that's because Traylor has started to track him down. So has Joey Hickox. We saw this earlier where Jay Stinson had caught Kenneth Redinger after he had pulled away. But then all of a sudden, Kenneth pulled away again. So I'm going to wonder if these guys maybe saved a little bit of tire. And now that they've caught up, do they have enough tire to make the pass before they use it up? We are officially over 2/3 of the way through the Blue Ridge Auto Group 200 here at Nashville Superspeedway. Down into turn 3. Dyer now on the outside because the 54 found a way to the inside. They are side by side down the front stretch. Joey's going to have an option here. Who does he go with? Dyer, though, was able to get clear right at the line. He jumps back down in front of the 54. Traylor's going to work around the line a little bit here. He's going to run a battle lane up to see if he can generate any sort of momentum right here. He does. And now he's going to look to the inside. Can Dyer throw a block? He can't. 54 is there. Joey's going to follow him, dives to the inside as well. All of a sudden, your leader, Matthew Dyer, is under heavy fire right here from Hickox Racing along with David Traylor. And just like that, 54 gets by. Now Joey is also looking to get by. Can he get clear before turn 1? He can't, but he's going to send it right on in. And he, oh man, actually sent it in maybe a little too far there. Truck got a bit out of shape. He had to chase it up the track. Almost got into Matthew Dyer, but now he does get cleared. Takes the second position away. But how about the run right now from David Traylor? Got himself out in front. This is one of the Asphalt Outlaw Racing guys. And they're looking for their first one on the season. One of the new teams. Got a couple of guys, few guys, handful of guys in fact. And so far, it's been a pretty good start to the season for a couple of them. Haven't been able to get a win yet. But you can kind of sense that there is one in the near future. Robert Duvendak is up 22 spots from where he started. He is your hardest charger in the top 10. William McKellar now finally back inside the top 10. He has picked off 2 more positions since we went back green. If he can pick off a few more and then get a caution, we'll see. The 75 might be just as dangerous as he was on the start. Grant Turner 11th, Russ Kilgore, Jay Stinson though, as fast as the truck as he's had tonight, just not been fast enough to make his way back through the traffic that he's gotten caught in after being involved in that wreck. And he's just going to probably continue to need a couple more cautions and try to pick as many off on a restart as possible. But if you mess up your restarts, which it's really easy to do, one mistake, you lose a couple positions. By the time that you're back in position to challenge for it, everybody's already single filed out and spread out, and it just makes things so difficult. But here you see Grant Turner working around the outside, trying to get around Russ Kilgore and Jay Stinson looking for the 2 for 1. But up front, it is still all David Traylor. 107 of 150 laps in. We're going to take another quick break, but we'll be side by side. You won't miss a thing.
Ghost Racing Network now has merch. Go to grnmerch.com to browse our selections from stickers to custom-made by request hoodies and shirts. If you've ever wanted to support Ghost Racing Network outside of YouTube, here's your chance. Ghost Racing Network, for the scary side of iRacing.
Back live in the Music City at Nashville Superspeedway. 111 laps complete, and we are now finally starting to get that long run that we've been waiting all night to see. You can see just how much it continues to spread the field out. Richard Hurst in the 76 battling one of the Hickox Racing drivers. The 29 of Matthew Fritz. This is the battle for 8th. Fritz is up 7 from where he started. Hurst is up 11. Boy, Richard finds a way to make a bad night good. Started out a little bit, not quite at the front, but he's been at the front a couple times tonight. Seems like he's got good short run speed. Long run speed seems to not quite be there yet for the 76. But he'll have one more chance out of here after the pit stop to see if he can adjust the way he either runs that line or change up something. We'll have to see how he decides to go about it. Now again, we talked about that we are expecting one more pit stop, but it continues to become the looming question of what lap are we going to see it. I think we're probably going to see it somewhere within the next 10 to 15 laps. So I'm going to give a wide window and say, oh, caution's out. Never mind. This is going to change some things. Jeff Carl has wrecked. And he has turned around backwards up in the outside wall out of turn 4. And this is going to be really, really close for these guys on the field. We'll have to pull somebody in to see how it's looking. Man, we have seen some hard front-end impacts here at Nashville so far tonight. And they get together. That's Christopher Bonomi. They were stuck together for a good while. Let's see if there's a little bit of contact before they got to this point. And does Carl maybe lean on Bonomi? So they get 3 wide here once they enter the corner. And I'm thinking maybe they weren't too pleased with each other. Watch this. The 94. Christopher is going to go down. Oh, little contact there as 98 slid up. And then they get back together. Not sure if Jeff was just... I might have said Chris slid up. I mixed that up. I meant to say Jeff slid up into Chris. Chris maybe was turned down just a little bit. But yeah, it looked more to me like the 98 was slightly sliding up. And I'm telling you, on old tires, it's so hard to pin the bottom. But once he gets back up into him, they get hooked together, and eventually it just turns both of them around into that outside wall. It's a tough break for both guys. Jeff Carl definitely not really been his night tonight. I know things could change, still some time, but he might be wanting to get out of here at this point. Let's take one more view of it here from the pit cam. And considering both of the pit lane cams tonight aren't working the way I wanted to, just take one more look at it here from the normal TV tower. Yeah, it's a big hit for Jeff Carl, and I don't know if he does have a fast pair left because he has been involved in a couple incidents. Still sitting on pit road. He's going to have to pay the tow bill first before he even gets a chance to see if he's got that fast repair. Everybody's going to pit But it's going to be a question of, are they good on fuel and are they good on tire? I think the best man to answer that is going to be the man that is out leading the way right now, David Traylor. Let's see if we can pull him in for a quick word. All right, I think we got him here. Let's see. David, this is Austin up at the booth. You got a copy?
10-4, got you, Austin.
Well, you look like you found something there during that last run. Now, on this one here, the first question we got for you is, how is the fuel and tire situation looking? Are you guys good to go from here the rest of the way?
We should be good. You know, with cautions, if we get a late caution after a run, it's going to be really tricky if you know you want to take tires or not. So we'll see what happens, but we should be good. You know, kind of hope my fingers crossed here for a green all the way out.
Now, we know track position has been very important tonight. The restart, though, things get a little chaotic. Is there any thought of maybe letting a couple guys go, saving some tire, and then going back to the front? Or do you try everything you've got to defend that clean air the whole way?
You know, having the clean air is huge here. And if you've got guys side by side, then you're going to either wear your tires out on the outside or coming off the corner. So you may use up a little bit of tire leading the pack, but it's huge having that clean air right now.
All right, sounds like plan. Had to fix my mic there for just a moment. Hey, thanks for talking to us, man. You've been looking faster at the end. Good luck the rest of the way, and we'll see if we're talking to you at the end of this.
Thanks, Austin. Hope to talk to you soon.
No problem. And sliding back down to his team. Again, that's one of the new teams. Asphalt Outlaw Racing, excuse me. Asphalt Outlaws. There we go. Took me a minute, but we got there. Lights are off on the pace truck, so we are going green this time. And it's going to put us right about at 33 laps to go. David wants to see it go green. A lot of guys tonight have said they want to see it go green the rest of the way. And we never did in 150 laps get a chance at a green flag stop tonight. So if you practiced your pit road entries this week, unfortunately you wasted your time. But nonetheless, Justin Parham going to be on the second row with Joey Hickox. That is one of the Grandstand Racing drivers. He might be able to lend some support now to his teammate Matthew Dyer. Maybe he won't feel so lonely anymore being up there. Matthew Fritz, Robert Duvendak, Chase Greer, all guys inside the top 6 right now. And all with a chance to win their first race of the season. Well, of course, Matthew Fritz already has one on the season. So does Richard Hurst. But everybody else still looking for number 1, potentially one of many on the season. You got to start somewhere. Who is going to get it tonight? Green flag is back in the air. 33 laps to go at Nashville. The 54 gets out to a phenomenal jump. Trailer's going to have plenty of breathing room as he gets down into turn 1. Matthew Dyer, he's going to try to get things sorted out behind him. Everybody is 2x2. Before we get too crazy here, let's do a little crank it up from Nashville Superspeedway. Here we go. And hold that thought just a second. John Bell with trouble. Yep, he's on the grass in the backstretch here. Hopefully he can get this straightened out without too many issues. Keep us green. Gets back on track, and he sure enough does look fine. No caution. So as we go back to the front, everybody's still looking good. Now we got Richard Hurst with issues. And this one's going to draw the caution. And another caution here on the night. 11th caution of the race. Blaze Richardson. Been involved in a couple accidents here tonight. First one of the night, and now on the 11th one of the night. Let's see, it's going to start with Richard Hurst. So this is going to start actually a bit further up. He had already got spun. Oh my goodness. This is before we even get to the turn. Wow. Man, this was a mess all the way from turn 4. All the way down the front straightaway. All right, here, let's try to break this down. Oh, so Richard gets really close to the wall. I'm not sure if he taps it, but he's trying everything to steer off it. No, he does. He takes a little bounce off the wall, and that sends him down, but he straightens it out. He never hits the 03. There's a pretty good net code between the two. Not sure if he would have hit him or not, but the net code, again, gets him first. That sends Keith Prince up into the wall, and then Richard Hurst gets tagged maybe by a little bit of net code from Grant Turner. That sends him down into the 9 truck. Riley Gomes, does Riley sneak by? He does, but then Richard Hurst gets sent into the outside wall hard. Jimmy Scamordella was involved. Then you saw Blaze Richardson. I think this was what eventually brings out the caution. Watch him go spinning here, and then it's going to slide back up. Lucky that nobody else gets collected. He tries to get that thing back down and back spun around in the right direction. Take a look at it from the pit cam. It's a tough break for Richard. Been having a good night. He's going to have to take a fast spare now. He'll go to the back and potentially join many of the guys that have had a lot of speed tonight, but once they've fallen to the back, have not been able to get back to the front. And just not really much that can be done about it. These guys have struggled to go. That one run we had, which I would say was probably about 25 laps. 25 laps or so has been the longest green flag run that we have had so far. And it's starting to look like it may end up going down as the longest green flag run we're going to have, as we are already almost down to less than 25 to go, as NOMA TV says the 21 truck is done. And who is the 21? I'm not showing a 21. Am I missing something here? I might be, but I do not see a number 21 in the field. David Traylor still has the lead after that caution flew. Matthew Dyer second, Justin Parham third, Robert Duvendak fourth, William George fifth, Joey Hickox in sixth, Chase Greer in seventh, Russ Kilgore eighth, Jay Stinson in ninth, and Matthew Fritz rounding out your top 10. Everybody at home that's still watching, certainly appreciate it. Race tonight has definitely gone longer than it was expected, and I'm going to apologize for my position up here in the booth, because it's definitely not been, you know, one of those broadcasts. You can tell as a broadcaster most of the time, certain broadcasts feel better than others. This one hasn't felt as good as I certainly would have liked it to be so far. Just with the sheer number of cautions that we're getting, you just kind of run out of things to talk about. Here to commentate on the racing, not so much the pace lap, so it makes it a little tricky once in a while. But I appreciate everybody working with me on it. 76, sorry, yep. Richard Hurst says done. Oh, wait to hear it, Richard. Assuming that you already used that fast spare earlier then. And I mean, yeah, 11 cautions. It's a good chance that just about everybody in the field has been caught up in one at some point or another through this race. But we're slowly starting to wind down and close in on the end of this thing. Once you hit 25 laps to go, that's where you really start to feel the intensity start to ramp up. It's got to be go time from that point on. And we should be getting the one to go signal right here this time. And you can see Richard there. Said he was done. Sure enough, VR headsets popped off. He is just going to watch from here on out. That's about all you really can do. Grant Turner, we saw him making some progress, but still has not been able to quite find his way back up inside the top 10. That's the 22 of Ryan Gomes. They haven't said anything about him tonight, but here he is inside the top 15. One of the trackside motorsports drivers. I'll tell you what, we have narrowed the field down a little bit with the amount of cautions that we have indeed had here tonight. And it looks like right now 28th on back is being scored as out of the race. Yeah, so we have about seven trucks, I think, that are already out of the race, and we still do have the what's going to be 27 laps to go when we go green right here. 3 laps down is John Bell, and it looks like, of course, Richard Hurst being done. So that means everybody else that is still on track, 25th and up, is all on the lead lap. Looks like Jimmy Scamordella was the last truck on the lead lap. Pace truck is going to make the hard left turn. Does anybody save tire, or do they go all out from here? And can Matthew Dyer figure out a restart to stick with your leader? David Traylor, he's going to have to sooner or later. Green flag is back in the air, and he's not going to be able to do it this time. The 54 off to the races again with another good jump. Robert Duvendak is trying to follow. He looks for a little side draft. He's going to try to pin it on the door right here of Matthew Dyer. Dyer using all the track that he can. And he's got to get clear here. Does he slam the door on the 99? He does. And is Dyer looking for a 2-for-1 right here? He might. He sends it down into turn 3, looking to the inside of the 54. He got there for just a minute, but I don't think he's going to hold it. Oh, Duvendak with a big slide off of 4. Somehow he holds on to it. Wow, that was close. Oh my goodness, Robert Duvendak with the fast hands. Just behind him, a little bit of a stack up going on from it. It's going to allow everybody to get back to 2x2. And Jay Stinson is now around on the back. Looks like it is only one truck, the 31. He gets it back up on track. We're going to stay green for now. The exit of turn 2 has been the worst nemesis of many, many trucks so far here tonight. And it claimed yet another victim in Jay. Taking a look from the blimp cam, a lot of action going on right here. This is further back of the pack as the 2 truck washes up. That's going to open the inside up to Sam Bowell, who gets loose, contact, and we're going to have another wreck. Caution is back out. And that is going to be your 12th caution of the night. 24 laps to go now. Let's go back and take a look. It looked like it started. Sam Botwell got loosed, over-corrected, and there's trucks up there, wasn't able to hold on. We saw it from the blimp cam happen live. Let's take a look from the chopper, though. And it just looks to me like he got loose here on the bottom. Made a great move off the start right here. I thought it was going to work for him. Look at this. Sneaks to the inside of the 2, but just loose. There's that slight overcorrection into the 03 of Keith Prince. There wasn't a lot of hard hits from this. That's the good news. And there's John Bell, but Keith Prince just goes for a little bit of slide in the grass. I think he's going to be okay. A couple more views of it. And we'll take one more ride here on the cockpit with Sam Boutwell. Shit, I'm talking about. Watch this. Makes the move, but sometimes when you make that move, the back end wants to start to slip out. Right there, it gets loose. And you see, he tries to stay in the throttle. That slight overcorrection costs him big time. Not sure if it's fast repair early. Or I don't even know what I said. I'm so tired. I apologize. I think fast repair worthy. I thought for some reason I might have said early. I don't know if it's going to be fast repair worthy. That's going to be a tough one. He's got pretty heavy left side damage and a little bit towards the left front. You know, he's probably also got a little bit on the left rear. We'll have to see how he decides to go about this. And David Traylor is still leading the way. 23 laps to go here as we pace under caution. Going to be a restart probably with about 20 to go. Matthew Dyer in second, Justin Parham third, William George in fourth, Trace Greer in fifth, Joey Hickok sixth, John Litch seventh, Russ Kilgore eighth, Robert Duvendak ninth, and Riley Gomes 10th. And we're going to keep going through your order since we haven't really had a chance to here tonight. Matthew Fritz in 11th, Philip Willis in 12th, Billy Davis in 13th, Stephen Hins in 14th, Randy Minomi 15th, Jimmy Scamardella in 16th, Ron Fenton in 17th, Christopher Bonomi in 18th, Grant Turner 19th. 20th is going to be William McKellar. 21st, Sam Boutwell. Blaze Richardson in 22nd. Keith Prince 23rd. Ryan Gomes 24th. Jay Stinson in 25th. John Bell 26th. Richard Hirsch 27th. Jeff Carl 28th. Tyler Dudley in 29th. Albert Hewins in 30th. 31st, Guy Bracco. And 32nd is going to be Kenneth Redinger. But of course, the last 7 guys that I named have all retired from the race due to damage. As Nancy says in the chat here, I can't see it because of YouTube silly setup. Sorry, Austin, you're going to be very late to the next broadcast. No worries, Nancy. It wasn't it was actually a race. It was just like a money race, whatever. It's no big deal. It was one of those ones where it was just if the race was over by 12, we were gonna head over there and do it. But I think they might have moved it up anyway. Absolutely no worries on that. NOMA is the number 1 priority here tonight. It's what we committed to the season. Just some of the general plans ahead. Nonetheless, though, you know, again, I hate to see these guys with so many cautions tonight. They're usually a lot better than this. It's just been a struggle. Seems like Nashville, I mean, it was early on, it seemed fine, but it seems like guys have really started to struggle with handling. Just a bunch of issues towards the back half of the field here in these last 4 or 5 cautions. And, you know, at this point, I think you had to take your tires under this caution right here, or you're not taking tires the rest of the way. I mean, you have got to just be focused on track position at this point with the amount of cautions that we've seen. And, you know, I don't think we're done yet. I wouldn't be too shocked if we see another 1 or 2 at least. I certainly would like to see us go green the rest of the way. Maybe we could get a little battle set up here between your top 5. But David Traylor, how about it? Only his 3rd start in the NOMA Truck Series. I believe. I don't believe there was a David Traylor last season that I can remember of. And again, hey, this is one thing I want to say, maybe as a disclaimer for all these guys. I think I do 4 or 5 races a week for broadcast for different leagues. So sometimes some of the smaller facts that I forget, I apologize. We try to get them as close as we can. All right, Pace Truck is going to pull off again. Salutes the guys as they are going to work their way back up into the Geico restart zone. Matthew Dyer did a better job last restart in terms of getting to him a little bit quicker, but he still wasn't able to hang with him on the restart itself. We'll see if he can do it this time. Right on board with Matthew Dyer as the green flag is back in the air. The 54 gets another great jump through the gears. Dyer is going to be able to get clear, so he does get single filed out nice and quick, and now he's going to go for your leader. Go to the blimp cam and go out back again because that's where all the action continues to happen at. And this time it looks a little bit more organized. Again, we continue to eliminate trucks actually further out back. We get a little through wide here as they're trying to split one of the slow trucks. And I can't tell exactly who that is. That might be... Oh, we got another wreck. The 7, Grant Turner up into the wall. Christopher Bonomi is able to avoid any contact. Caution is back out. 13th caution of the night. And it looks like we have Richard Hurst joining us up here in the booth. So let's go ahead and see how he's doing. Go ahead, Richard.
Well, man, it was a very good race, man. It's a very challenging track. This was actually the first time I've ever been to this track. But I really want you to focus on, David Traylor. David Traylor actually ran a really good race last night. We broadcasted it on NOMA TV for the Asphalt Outlaws Racing. And, man, he's going to learn from his mistakes tonight. Even though it was in the Xfinity cars, he's going to learn from those mistakes. He's out here leading right now. I wouldn't put it past him winning here tonight.
Yeah, certainly wouldn't either. The only thing that's going against him right now is that through that quick caution, we had a little bit of change for the lead. Matthew Dyer took it over. I think Dyer's really close on speed, but we haven't had a chance to see if guys have been, really pushing or maybe kind of saving, hoping for the long run. But, at this point, Richard, with the amount of cautions we've seen, I almost think forget the tires. Just give me the track position.
That was my whole strategy for the second stage. Just give me the track positions, and I stayed out on really old tires. So
yeah, certainly.
And I dropped really fast after about 40. After about 30 laps, you drop really fast.
Yeah, saw that. It's one of those tracks where it's so easy to scrub the front tires. And it's interesting to see guys struggling with handling so much more late in this race than they did earlier when the track temp is cool. I mean, it was at 75 when we started, down to 74. It is now 11 o'clock in sim time. But, I thought with the night race that the handling wouldn't be too big of a problem. But the only time I've raced here at Nashville was in the Xfinity Series, and those tended to get a little bit tight and loose on exit. And it was usually out of turn 2, which just seemed to be the trouble here for most of the guys tonight, getting loose off turn 2.
Yeah, especially running the high line. The high line does, or the middle line. Not everybody is running up there. They're mostly sticking to that bottom, and you have a lot more grip on that bottom for whatever reason. And that high line, that middle line, not a lot of people's running up there, so you don't have the rubber down on the track. So you're not getting that traction. So that truck just spins right around on you.
A lot of the tracks that we go to, we usually see when guys run that high line, there's a lot of momentum that they can gain on the straightaways, and that's usually the preference for that high line. You seem to get a little momentum here at Nashville, but it definitely has not been as much as what we see at tracks like, Auto Club, Michigan. It's just you know, it works a little bit. So I think if it's a close pass, and it seems like it's worked on the restarts, but on older tires, the inside has just been the place to be. And if you're Matthew Dyer right here, you get out to a good jump. I'm wondering if the 28 isn't hoping we see a couple more cautions so that this thing is as short of a run as possible or to the checkers rather.
Yeah, definitely. You know, you got a lot of good trucks back there that don't want to see these cautions. You know, Joey Hickox, he's been back there saving a little bit of tire. You know, it looks like he's running about the 5th. Sorry, I'm not in sim, so I've got it going off your stream there. But you got a couple that's been back there saving tires, and I know Joey Hickox. He was one of them. He caught me very quickly, and we battled it out for about a lap, and it was pretty much let him go or he was going to spin me. So
Joey certainly was fast earlier. So was Jay. But man, I have not seen a race in a while where it's been so bad with the amount of trucks that we've seen in the front that have just had the speed where you've said this guy's going to win the race, and then they fall back even in a little bit of traffic. I'm talking maybe 10 positions, and they just have not been able to get back to the front. I mean, you look at William McKellar off the start, great qualifying time, got involved in that first caution, hasn't been able to recover to the front since. Joey Hickox not as far back, but take his teammate Jay Stinson as a prime example. He won stage 1, fell back, got caught up in a couple incidents, just has not been able to recover.
Yeah, look at you know, also John Lynch. You know, he's been, you know, pretty much back and forth, and you know, I was in a team chat with him, and he was like, man, I just can't get the passes on these guys. There's just not a lot of help. The outside you can do it, but you're going to need a little bit of help to get that runoff. But if there's a gap, they're sliding right there in front of you.
And kind of interesting how, unlike, you know, even though we get kind of slow in the corners and the inside's really the only lane that works here, you can't really do the bump and run like we would see at Bristol, Martinsville, because they're still running too fast through the turns. If you give somebody a bump here, it's going to send them around, and we're going to get another caution. So you got to tread really carefully. We have seen a couple guys do it really good. Matthew Dyer made a beautiful pass on Joey Hickox a little bit earlier in the race, set him up. Was a little bit more conservative on the way he entered the corner. That set himself up nicely for the middle, and then on exit got a really big run, was able to get to the inside, and then made the pass through turns 3 and 4. But we're getting ready for the restart here, and we'll see if Matthew Dyer now with the field in control, if he can maybe control his destiny to the finish.
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to let you get to your broadcast, man. Awesome broadcast. Always listen to it while I'm driving. But don't forget, we got the Gen 4 series starting tomorrow night, so on NOMA TV. So definitely come check those guys out in those Gen 4s at Bristol. That'll be their class race. But Austin, you have a good night, and we'll catch you later, man.
You too. Thanks for joining us. Richard Hurst, ladies and gentlemen, NOMA TV. Make sure you check him out. All right, back on track. Green flag was back in the air, and Matthew Dyer got off to just as good of a jump as David Traylor did on every single other restart, and they're battling for second. This is exactly what Matthew Dyer wants to see. 13 laps to go is not that long. If he can pull away to maybe a second gap or so, that might be all he needs, and he is extending that quick as these two continue to race. Man, Parham was ripping the wall right there. He did everything in his power to try to make it stick. He's still trying to make it stick, but it's just not quite working for the 19. The 54 finally gets clear. And now he's got to set his sights on the 28 truck. Back here, we got a couple guys going side by side. That's Russ Kilgore and Matthew Fritz. That is the battle currently for 9th position. Just behind them, Blaze Richardson, Randy Bonomi, along with the 79 of Jimmy Scamordella. A lot of trucks that have had damage tonight have still been able to get back up in the top 15. Chase says hi. How's it going, Chase? Good to see you back in here. And Nancy Hickok says, let's go 399 to 90, hook up and move to the front. Nancy knows it's go time, and so does David Traylor, but it's been hanging out 0.3 of a second the last lap or two. Wow, Dyer using a little bit of IndyCar experience here, if you will, in the sense of breaking the draft. You don't see that too often here. Not super long straightaways on the back. Now the front here, it's going to be more important. Very long straightaway on the front. As he dives to the inside, is he going to go back up? No, he's just going to go ahead and hold it down. And that may have worked a little bit because it's still hanging around 0.3 of a second. 11 laps to go now. Does Traylor have anything left in the tank to get up there and fight for it? William George is still hanging on pretty close to the back of the 54. Justin Parham was racing for second there for the first couple laps, but he has now fallen to 4th. John Lynch, I'll tell you what, great comeback for John here tonight. Had quite a few issues, but he has recovered nicely up to 5th, up 9 spots from where he started with the good-looking paint scheme. Joey Hickox in 6th, Chase Greer 7th, Robert Dubendak in 8th, Matthew Fritz in 9th, and it's going to be Russ Kilgore currently rounding out your top 10. There goes... Oh, hold on, let's back that up. I realized you guys couldn't see it from that view. I was going to say, if you go back here, there goes William McKellar and Randy Bonomi on the outside. They're trying to get clear here. A couple more positions before they'll be back into the top 10, but this is really the main battles right now is everybody in this little pack right here. You could throw all 10 of these trucks under a blanket as they continue to try to get sorted out, and I think if you're Matthew Dyer, you got to be saying to yourself right now, everybody please play nice, keep it clean. He's still got a 0.2 of a second lead over second. It's not a lot, but it might be enough to maintain here for these next 8 laps. And these guys continue to go down. That's Jay Stinson, Keith Prince. You saw McKellar was able to finally get clear. Keith Prince is trying to do the same now on the bottom, but he's still side by side with Randy Bonomi. Jay Stinson on the outside of Blaze Richardson. Now, I am surprised at how much this group is able to make that outside work. We're going to leave them to their bidding because up front we are going to have a battle for the lead now. The 54 has made it back up to the back bumper of Matthew Dyer now. And it's a 3-truck battle for the lead because William George, he is also in the picture. And he could have a shot at going for his first win right here tonight. Working a nice steady wheel as they get down in the corner. You got to be really, really smooth right here. 7 laps are going to feel like forever to Matthew Dyer, but they're going to feel like no time for William George and David Traylor, who are looking for any opportunity to open up. And you got to wonder, does William George here think about making the move on the 54 first, or does he try to let the 54 make the move? No, he's going to make the move right now. He knows it's go time. He needs to get by soon. And he tried. He's still trying. Had to dive to the apron. Is he there? Looking to see if he can get to the inside. He does. Traylor's going to have to stay up the track. Can William make it stick on exit? Yeah, he does. Side by side. This is going to allow Dyer to pull away for about half a lap. And Traylor is fighting back hard. I think if he could get the lead, he would have the truck to win. But I just don't know if he's got the truck in traffic to do so. And all this battling between him and William George just continues to help your leader pull away. Looks like George is finally going to concede again and let Traylor have the position back. Parham diving it in just behind the 96. He's found a little bit of late run speed here that he's looking to make work. And caution is back in the air with 5 laps to go. We got one turn around the wall. Looks like it is Keith Prince. He had a heck of a recovery after a rough start tonight. Has been all the way 2 laps down. Has also been all the way up into the top 3. But unfortunately, he's going to lose all of that progress yet again right here. And this is now going to send us in to green-white checkers. Let's go back and take a look at it. Back this up. William McKellar, along with the 88 of Billy Davidson. They're all racing side by side. Ooh, does the 03 clear himself? Certainly look like he may have, and that's a hard hit. That's probably going to be a faster pair as Keith takes a shot with the left side and the left front, or the right front, excuse me, on the outside wall. Let's look from the chopper view. It looked like on the initial view like the 03 washes up, but does he indeed do so? You know, there was netcode there. So first of all, it's going to be a netcode wreck. Neither guy was touching each other, and it didn't look like either guy was going to hit each other, but the netcode took over there and caused him to. But then on top of that, I will say that it didn't look like the 03 really came up as much. You got to remember, he's got to come up a little bit to make the arc into the corner. It looked like the 88 of Billy Davidson had actually been coming down a little bit. And for his case, he may have been trying to pin the 03 down a bit so that he couldn't make that move work. Take one more view of it from the static TV cam. Here we go. Just saw it there. The 03 was the only truck involved in that one, though, so we don't need to look at it too much farther. But as he is in the pits, not sure if he had a fast pair, and if he did, if he's choosing to use it yet. And, whoa. Hold on just a minute now. This is a major mix-up in strategy. Before we talk about who's in the front, it looks like, yeah, we had a decent amount of guys pit here. I don't know about that decision. I gotta be honest, I'm not a fan of that decision. 2 laps to go. I don't know if these guys are gonna be able to make up that many spots that quick. You gotta wonder if it might have been a fuel case, and I'll tell you what, I think that has to be what it is. I just don't see any other way that Matthew Dyer pits right there for new tires. I mean, you're only gonna have 2 laps to really use on them, so that's got to be my best guess. Not sure, though. We'll have to find out at the end during interviews. So all of a sudden, John Lynch, the door has swung wide open for SPINO Racing. They could have a chance of getting their first win of the season. And in second is Joey Hickox, Robert Duvendak third, Matthew Fritz fourth, Russ Kilgore fifth. He's up 20 from where he started. Stephen Hins in 6th, William McKellar in 7th, Billy Davis in 8th, Jay Stinson 9th, and Sam Boutwell rounding out your top 10. Yeah, man. Lynch is got this with control of the restart. Yeah, I agree here with NOMA TV Richard Hurst. If you're the 90 from what we've seen tonight, get a good restart right here, and you should about have this thing in the bag. Lane choice doesn't matter too much. I think you try to pick whatever lane is going to set up the inside to be the raciest, which in this case I think maybe take the inside. I like the idea of taking the inside right here. We'll see what John decides to do. Should be getting the 1 to go this time. We do have 3 green-white checkers. Again, if we get a caution in the first lap, we'll rack them up and try it again. We'll do that 3 times. Last week we ended under caution. Hoping that doesn't happen tonight, but it is certainly starting to become a possibility. Everybody that stuck around from start to finish, I appreciate it. Been a long one here tonight. Now sitting at about 2 hours and 10 minutes. Might finish this race up under 2 hours and 15 minutes. And that's just because of all the cautions. Normally this race is, you're probably looking at maybe an hour and a half to an hour and 45 minutes. But just all the cautions have really extended the race here tonight. I mean, 14 cautions. If we get another one here, then on average, we would have had about a caution every 10 laps. And at that point, we may have ran almost more caution laps than we did green flag laps here tonight. Tough break for Matthew Dyer and David Traylor. They had 2 really fast trucks. But now we have 2 guys who are really hungry for a win. Make it 3 with Robert Duvendak all on the bottom. Could Matthew Fritz maybe go back-to-back? He's starting on the outside of row 2. We are about to find out. Got to make it 1 lap around to make this race official. Pace truck's going to pull off. John Lynch on the top. John Lynch on the bottom. Joey Hickox up top. Duvendak, he is ready to give him a big push once they get into the restart zone. And there it is. Green flag is in the air. It's a phenomenal jump from John Lynch. He gets way out, making about 3 truck lengths. Already up to 3/10 is the gap with that jump. And now it's all about focusing forward. Do not look in your mirror because they are battling out back. Joey Hickox is going to get clear of Robert Duvendak out of turn 2. They're racing really hard just behind him. Everybody going to have to keep it clean. There might be some contact here getting to turn 3. So far, so good. And as we go back to the front, he is going to see the white flag. One more time around. Can John Lynch hold off the rest of the field? He's going to have a charging Joey Hickox in 3. You know Joey's going to give it everything he's got right here. Does he think about maybe giving him a little bit of the bumper right here? Final time down the backstretch, looking for anything, a run. Can he make it work? He's got almost 2/10 of a lead. Final dive into turn 3. Joey sends it in, but it's not going to be enough. Out of turn 4, John Lynch at Nashville Superspeedway. He is going to get the win. First win of the season for John Lynch. And he is pumped about it. I wish we could have got to his cam about 10 seconds earlier. He was pumping his fist so hard, I think the headset fell off of his head. And what a win for the 90. Sometimes you need a little bit of luck at the end. He got it, and he took full advantage of it. And in what might go down as the longest race of the season, maybe the most caution-filled race of the season, John Lynch prevails. SPINO Racing going to get their first win of the season. Second win of the season. I can't believe I said first. I apologize, Richard Hurst, if you're out there watching. I know you got the first win of the season at Daytona, so I take that back. So now everybody on SPINO Racing has a win. Let's put it that way. Boy, Joey tried, comes home second, just not quite enough. I think if maybe one more lap, maybe he has enough to get to the back bumper, give him a little shot. But not quite enough in this case. John's going to burn it down on whatever tires he's got left. Celebrates in the Music City. As he does so, we are going to go pull your top 3 in here for interview. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Nashville. All right, back live at Nashville Superspeedway. Going to start with your third place finisher tonight, Robert Duvendak. Robert, you got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good. Well, a good run tonight. Maybe a little bit of luck there towards the end for a lot of guys as the leaders all had to pit, and you capitalized on it. Come home with a third place finish. Tell us about your night.
It was all pure luck tonight. Like, this is one of my worst tracks. I'm horrible here. I can never figure out how to drive this place. I mean, I think I was sideways probably 5 or 6 times tonight off the turn where I should have spun out but didn't. So luckily I was able to keep the car somewhat clean tonight. And yeah, I mean, I think those leaders were counting on more cautions here at the end because I know we had plenty of fuel to make it to the end. And I think they were just assuming with how many cautions we had tonight that we were going to get more there at the end, and they were trying to take advantage of those new tires. But kind of shocked me. I saw them pull off and I was like, wait, what? I had to look at my fuel. Like, am I missing something? Like, am I running low on fuel and I don't know it? And then I was like, okay, well, maybe they're just trying to gamble the tires. And it sounds like that's what they were hoping for, hoping to catch a rash of cautions there at the end and didn't. So yeah, I mean, we stole a top 3. I mean, I was happy getting a top 10 tonight the way I was driving. So
yeah, well, it certainly shocked me up here in the booth as well. But hey, congrats on the third place finish. Going to give you good momentum carrying on into Pocono. Before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, absolutely. Want to shout out to all of our sponsors, Manny Rays and H&H that jumped on board. I think we got a couple others I can't think of off my head right now. This is my first time on Saturday night, so apologize if I missed anyone. I got to thank you and Ghost Racing Network for all that you do here every Saturday for us, and I thank my teammates over at Shooter McGavin. Tonight was Guy and Scam. They had pretty rough nights, and they still stuck around and helped spot for me a little bit here. So I appreciate Guy for doing that for me, and thank my wife and kids. Let me sit down here and do this every race.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us. We will see you probably the week after Poconos. I won't be there, but hey, nonetheless, thanks for talking to us.
Absolutely. Have a great night.
You as well. All right, we're going to bring in your second place finisher, Joey Hickox. Joey, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
You come up just one short of the win. Man, you were so close. Do you think if you had another lap, you could have got it there? And also, overall, tell us about your night.
No, I needed like 3 or 4 more laps. I ain't very fast here, so I had to play the tire saving game. But overall, great night. Stage win, finished second. I think we finished second in the first stage, so a lot of points tonight. probably gained more points than anybody else. That's the name of the game. Congratulations to J.O., my nephew. Proud of him. He was able to pull it off. Jay Stinson won the first stage, so it was a good night for the team.
I'll tell you what, Hickox Racing certainly looked like they had a lot of speed tonight. A couple misfortunes, but nonetheless, you were able to come home with the second place finish. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I want to thank my mom, my dad for always watching, my wife for letting me do it, and my son, he's actually getting into iRacing now, so thanks, buddy, for helping me practice today. I greatly appreciate that. Got to thank you for broadcasting. Got to thank all of our sponsors, Manny Rays, Flatwoods Hunting Club, H&H Tractor Works, Whosoever South, SPINO Designs. I think that's it. I might be missing one. If I am, I'm sorry. But yeah, I mean, long night. I'm tired. This was not the type of race I was expecting, especially from the league. But a bunch of new guys. We'll get it straightened out, and hopefully we won't have no more races like this anymore.
Sounds good, and I'm with you on the tired part. I'm going to bed straight after this is over. Hey, thanks for talking to us, and congrats on that second place finish.
All right, thanks, man.
And now we're going to bring in your winner. Get yourself ready. This is going to be an excited man right here. John Lynch is with us, but we'll actually get to him in just a moment because we got a little thing to set up for him here. Give me just a moment as we are going to head over to the interview screen. We'll pull him up. We got him on cam here. We saw the excitement out of you after the race was over. Your first win of the season. How you feeling?
Dude, I feel incredible. You don't know how good that felt.
Well, man, it was, first of all, did it kind of surprise you when you saw the leaders go in, and what were you thinking on how you wanted to execute the restart and how you're going to handle those last two laps?
Yeah, so I had my friend Sam and Riley in my ear that whole time, and they're like, do whatever the leader doesn't do. And when I saw him come out and the rest of the top five go, I'm like, I'm staying out. I mean, they're yelling at me, stay out, stay out, stay out. But in my head, I wasn't comprehending that, so I'm just like, I'm staying out. Go get it. And I thought it was just Joey and I out. I'm like, crap, we're gonna get swamped. And then I saw everyone else line up behind it. I'm like, okay, we may have a shot here if I don't screw it up. And then I timed the restart and got a jump on them, and then I think that was the fastest 2 laps that I set all race. But dude, that feels so good.
And give me just 1 second here. Congrats on it. Nancy says in the chat, no sound. Nancy, who from? Because right now it's showing I've got sound. Was it on Joey? It might have been on Joey's interview, so we're going to keep going from now on here.
Yeah, we got sound on my end.
All right, sounds good. It must have been Joey, so I do apologize for that. But nonetheless, congrats on the finish tonight. Before we let you go, is there anyone you'd like to thank or shout out?
Obviously, Sam and Riley keeping me cool after I kind of got hot there after I wrecked myself, and then someone came down and hit me. But a huge shout out to them. Huge shout out to them. I want to thank my sponsors. Stevenson Signworks got me this awesome SPINO decal that's on my wheel here. Great products. Hit them up if you need any good decals. Yankee Pie Beats. Of course, SPINO Designs. And Nana, I know you're watching. I knew you were cheering me on. I heard the text message over there as soon as I took the checkers. So thanks for always watching, Nana. And of course, you, Austin, for putting on that great finish, honestly.
Certainly was a great finish. Happy to see you get your first win. And now all of SPINO Racing has a win. You and Richard Hurst both going to victory lane here in only the first 3 races of the season. Quite the statement. Hey, again, thanks for talking to us. Congrats on the win, and we will see you in a couple weeks.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. And again, whoever I had the audio muted there for, certainly apologize for that. Hopefully, it looks like we got it fixed. Again, I'm showing audio on my side, but I am so tired by this point tonight that I very well could have missed something. Either way, let's go ahead and talk about your finishing results here tonight for the Blue Ridge Auto Group 200. We talked your top 3, John Lynch, Joey Hickox, and Robert Duvendak. Matthew Fritz finishes 4th. Stephen Hins in 5th. Jay Stinson 6th. Russ Kilgore 7th. William McKellar in 8th. Sam Batwell 9th. And Grant Turner, Billy Davison rounding out your top 10. Grant Turner 11th. Randy Bonomi in 12th. Riley Gomes 13th. Jimmy Scamordella finishes in 14th. Christopher Bonomi 15th. Matthew Dyer in 16th. Philip Willis in 17th. William George in 18th. 19th is going to be Justin Parham. David Traylor finishes 20th. Ryan Gomes, the 21st. Ron Fenton, 22nd. Blaze Richardson, 23rd. Keith Prince in 24th. Chase Greer in 25th. John Bell, 26th. Richard Hurst, 27th. Jeff Carl, 28th. Tyler Dudley, 29th. Guy Bracco, 30th. Albert Hewins, 31st. And Kenneth Redinger, after the issues, finishes 32nd tonight. Definitely not the way he wanted his night to end. Nancy says sound is working now, and yeah, it was Joey. Yeah, sorry about that, Nancy. It may have been. I may have left it muted and somehow not noticed when I was doing Joey, so I do apologize for that. Joey did include you guys, though, in the shout-out, so sorry about that. We'll make sure we have that fixed for next week, whatever issue I made a mistake there. Overall, though, a caution-filled race tonight, but nonetheless, we see John Lynch get his first win of the season under the lights of Nashville Superspeedway. No race next week, and then it is on to the tricky Triangle Pocono Raceway. Thank you all one more time for tuning in. Until next time.